Hey, shout out to Underground, baby. It's about to go down. When I tell you that I'm balling, I ain't even flexing. Look at where I started, look at where I'm headed. I feel like Hey, that's good.
When I tell you that I'm ballin', I ain't even flexing. Look at where I started, look at where I'm headed. I feel like I made it, I made it, I made it. I feel like I made it, I made it, I made it. Started at the bottom, now I'm on the ceiling. I just called my mama and told her that we did it. I feel like I made it, I made it, I made it. I feel like I made it, I made it, I made it, I made it, yeah.
Yo, what's up, man? It's your boy, Awesome Lanier. Some of y'all might know me as Mr. Me Time or A-Train the Alien. Let me make sure my Underground bracelet is showing here before I get going, man. So I had a rough childhood growing up, a lot of behavior problems at a very early age, was diagnosed with ADHD and hyperactivity. And at an early age, I began having a lot of identity problems. Like I didn't really believe that people loved me for who I was. And I began to develop a self-hatred because of my ADHD and behavior problems. It really peaked in middle school. I was getting kicked out of public school for fighting, and then I get kicked out of private school, Christian schools for messing around with girls, and my identity was just completely lost. So I ended up moving to a completely new city at the age of 15 because my parents wanted to help me get away from this lifestyle of just brokenness that I was stuck in. And we moved to a place called Yorktown, Virginia, which was like the rich white people part of town. And we lived in the smallest house in the smallest little neighborhood. And I made it work, man. I ended up making the varsity soccer team at a very early age. It was my identity, being that soccer guy. You know, I was the varsity athlete. I was the guy that got all the girls. I was the guy that smoked the most, drank the most, threw the craziest parties. And it was really an identity that I began to embrace because I didn't really have all the money that my friends had. Their parents were doctors and nobody's mom worked, and my mom is like working jobs. My dad's working double jobs, and it was crazy, man. I really had to fight for my identity, I thought. At my senior year, I was actually facing such debilitating anxiety and stress, actually having panic attacks. I mean, I remember being on the ground, I would be like shaking, and my mom would just come and pray for me, like, Austin, everything's gonna be okay. I ended up dropping out of school and finishing online because I just couldn't even face who I was. As a matter of fact, for 2 months of my life, we actually covered every single mirror in my house because I couldn't look at myself. So I pretty much have chased so many different things in my life, and I ended up failing at everything. When I was selling drugs, when I was chasing popularity, I mean, everything left me broken. I've been on the verge of taking my own life, and I've even got these tattoos on my hand of 3 of my friends that have taken their own life from suicide. I ended up moving out to Texas and saying, man, you know what? I'm going to take a chance. I'm going to move out to Texas and pursue music. So I did. I slept on the floor for like 6 months at my boy's 1-bedroom apartment, hardwood floor. I mean, I had an air mattress. I'd wake up, sometimes it'd be literally deflated. I'm sleeping on hardwood, you know? And man, God just kept providing for me though. And I ended up making a mixtape. So I dropped this mixtape, and it ends up opening up some bigger doors for me. Next thing you know, I was able to leave my job. I'm doing music full time. And that was an interesting adaptation for me because I'm like, man, I'm actually making enough money to leave my full-time job and make music. And it was crazy because I started off with the heart of wanting to impact people, but next thing you know, I'm on stage with Paul Wall and Slim Thug and Waka Flocka, and I'm out here with these big secular dudes, and I'm like, dang, man, I started chasing money. I started chasing fame. I started getting back into the same things that were holding me back as a kid. And God used that. I ended up getting so much conviction that I pulled back, and I went back home to Virginia, and I really just had to refocus on my entire life. I've been forced through the failures in my life to put my trust in Jesus alone, no matter what my circumstances look like. And God has really honored that. This past year, I've been getting discipled, and I've been learning the importance of community. And that's really the biggest thing that has changed my life, is understanding that I've had the desire to do right my whole life, but I've always failed because I've never really had the right team of people around me. So this past year, I've been really plugged into a great ministry, Eyes on Me and Hip Hop Hope, stuff that's happening around Houston. And I've got Trey 9, a guy that's been mentoring me for the past year. I mean, just life-changing stuff that has been a result of me putting God first. And this past year has just been game-changing. So that's where Underground comes into play. Shout out to the Risk Action with Underground. You know, y'all are a community for me, and it might seem just like a Thursday night, but like I really do my best to make sure that I'm free, because having people that are like-minded and that are my age that I'm able to go and have even just fun with and talk about Jesus with is just game-changing for me. So I'm so thankful for y'all, and man, y'all are really making an impact on my life, and I think that God's gonna use what we're doing here at Underground to reach people not only in the city of Houston, but I know people doing mission trips here and there. I mean, I think we're gonna make an impact on the world, and it starts here at Underground with our community and our relationships with Christ, man. So I want to thank y'all for helping me with mine. Without y'all, you know, this album, my life wouldn't be the same, man. So the album's coming out January 26th. I don't know if it's already happened or if it's gonna happen, but it's gonna be super lit, and I hope that y'all love it. I hope that somehow I'm able to impact you as much as y'all have impacted me, and I think that's about it. Mr. Me Time, Awesome Lanier, signing out. Yeah, this is me time. Yeah, this is me time. Hey.